All right, I'm going to bring this meeting of the Hancock County Commissioners to order for May 21st, 2024.
I'm going to move to adopt the agenda as presented with the exception of moving item 12A to 5D and removing items 12B and C. Those are all under IT.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Any public comment? All right, so no public comment.
I'm going to move to approve the minutes of the May 7th, 2024 regular meeting as presented.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I would note that on the agenda, that item said April 2nd, but the motion is for May. We vote?
You did.
We did, okay. I didn't think so, but
Okay.
Monica said.
I heard aye.
Yeah.
Okay, aye, okay.
We did.
All right. All right, now we have some time for some employee recognition. First up, we're going to recognize Joanne Jodry for 5 years of service.
So I'm gonna move to recognize and thank Joanne Jodry for her 5 years of service to Hancock County.
Second the motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
She's not here.
No, she's not.
To her. All right. Next up, we're going to recognize Patricia Rossi's 10-year service.
I want to move to recognize and thank Patricia Rossi for her 10 years of service to Hancock County.
Second motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
She's not.
Patricia.
She's working, there's not much stuff going on.
Oh,
Gonna make it happen.
all right. Yeah, we'll make sure. Congratulations. Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners.
Hello.
Missy Evanson, with the DA's office. Karen's not able to be here today, but we did want to thank her. 23 years and 3 months of service with the DA's office. She will be greatly missed. We do appreciate what she's done and how much she's contributed to this department over the years.
So I'm gonna move to acknowledge the retirement of victim witness advocate Karen Brown and thank her for her over 23 years of service to Hancock County.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's quite an accomplishment. 23 years.
Yes. That's incredible. All right, and then we've got Chuck.
I'm gonna move to recognize and thank Chuck Carter for his 5 years of service to Hancock County.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll take a picture. I got it.
Oh, Monica says she's got it.
Congratulations. Thank you. All right, check it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Congratulations.
Never has a new department ever had so much expense. Move on to Miller. We've got some solid waste agreements. Renew, anything changing?
These two have no change at all.
Okay. To that.
So I'm gonna move to approve the renewal of solid waste agreement with the town of Steuben, Surrey Township 7.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the next one, I'm gonna move to approve the renewal of the solid waste agreement with the town of Deer Isle, Surrey Eagle Island.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that was interesting to me. So what do? They, Eagle Island will actually
Transport the damage.
on a boat?
To you.
Really? Huh. Didn't realize.
Individually.
Individual.
Oh, individually, okay.
All right, and then we have the approval for the county to act as agent for the ATVs. Any change there?
No, same, it's the pass-through money for the.
I'm gonna move to approve Hancock County unorganized territories continuing to act as the agent for the county ATV clubs to apply for and receive grant funds from the Bureau of Parks and Lands ATV program, and to authorize the chair to sign a municipal grant and aid program agreement as presented.
Second motion.
And that's the exact same thing that we did.
Yep,
Last year,
this is the fourth year.
And they found it, like it's worked for them, right? Like, I'm just wondering about the success of the program. Is it, is the success of the program?
Yes, the clubs get money for keeping ATVs on the trail.
Yeah, every year.
That's great. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, aye.
As long as 4 places for the chair to sign, two places for the chair to sign, and 2 places for everybody to sign. Seems like we always miss one every year. Have to catch you. Yes, sir.
What is that?
J, or JHM is,
Uh,
I'll wanna take a copy of that before you.
I'll email it to you,
Okay,
because I gotta scan it in and I'll send it for you.
is that okay? If he emails that, scales.
Or I can run it to the copy already.
Yeah, however, whatever way you want to do it. As long as we get a copy of the sign. Yeah. It's always preferred.
I'll do that right now.
Yeah.
Someone's car.
No, it's okay.
It looks like somebody's car.
Well, this is 2 for me. One more.
How you? So that if he wants to take health insurance to retirement. Hello, Leroy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Right. So on our agenda for today, we've got the lease.
Yeah. Yeah, this short-term lease with Maine for 6,000 square feet down at the parking lot at the seaplane ramp. We've been working with this for a while, and it's finally looks like the FAA's gave it the green light. So apologize that we don't have their signed copy yet, but they're working it through their system also. So hopefully at some point the 2 systems and signatures will all make it together.
A lot of work for 6,000 square feet.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
it's like it's a 6-month gig or something like that. So it's worth a little bit of money.
So I'm gonna move to approve a short-term lease with the University of Maine system for 6,000 square feet of land located at the seaplane ramp parking lot.
Second motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anything else for us?
No, just to update a little bit on, we had our annual tabletop last week. Everything went pretty well. We had 13 agencies. one agency that didn't show was the sheriff's department, and now TSA is questioning. They're giving us basically a demerit because it was a security type of meeting and we didn't have anybody from the sheriff's office to represent it. So I gotta put together a letter to the TSA folks that I have reviewed things with John Mayhorn, and they'll accept that. But it's just it was a little bit. I have to admit, it was a little bit embarrassing, and we didn't have the sheriff's office show up.
Did you get heads up that they needed to be there?
We'd had a department head meeting earlier in the day, and they said they was going to be here, and they didn't show. So, other than that, I got nothing.
All right. Then move on to the jail.
This request to hire Melanie Johnson of Ellsworth as a full-time corrections officer effective June 1st, 2024. Full benefits of pay rate 9A.
So moved.
Second motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Request to hire Dylan Walrus of Pittsfield as a part-time corrections officer as needed effective May 25th, 2024. Pay rate of 9C.
So moved.
Second motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And promote Chris Shady to full-time effective May 25th, 2024 with full benefits and continued pay rate of 9A.
So moved.
Second, where's he from?
Ellsworth.
Oh, so I should put of Ellsworth.
Aye. Yes,
He's already.
Yeah, he's already.
Oh, that's right, he's already.
He's already here full-time.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh,
Aye.
aye.
So does that get you back to?
No, we're still short. We had some people with interest, had a bunch of interviews last week. I want to thank you for getting these in today, because it's been about last Friday. Thing to get these names on board, so we're getting there, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Sheriff.
First off, I think it's just the permission to purchase the tasers. You guys would have been for the vote for the number requested in last meeting.
So this is exactly what we talked about last week.
That's my understanding, just with the revised
Yeah.
quote based on the numbers.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move to approve the purchase of 30 tasers, the 31st being free. Right,
I believe that's what they,
yeah,
we had
it
determined.
it says
last meeting.
30, but they talk about 31,
Correct,
so that's
correct.
why.
We get 31 handled.
Yeah, and related materials from single source Axon for the sum of $129,672 to be paid for from ARPA funds.
Seconded. Any other discussion?
Well, I don't know why we're buying these things. 2 or 3 meetings ago, we got an information sheet request from the sheriff's office for tasers. They said that Exxon was offering a lease program they want to take advantage of. They don't offer a lease program, was incorrect. They said we had 10 tasers were 10 years old, need to be replaced. The oldest one was 8, half of them were only 5 years old, so that wasn't correct. They said they needed extra tasers on hand because it took 4 months to get them from the supplier. Supplier said, no, we can overnight them if it's an emergency, so that was incorrect. So why are we buying these? The reasons they gave us for wanting them were false. Now, they haven't got a taser supervisor yet. They're going to be training 2, as we understand, in July. And as I look at this bundle from Axon, I'm still convinced that nobody in county government understands exactly what they're offering us. What we have is a salesman who enjoys a monopoly on this, who is giving us some kind of a package, and quite honestly, I can't figure out what's in it. I mean, for example, recertification by a deputy, whatnot, is supposed to be two cartridges. They have to fire twice. Well, that's 10 cartridges per deputy for a 5-year program. And when you add up all the cartridges they're sending, there's far more cartridges than that is. And so why do we have the extra cartridges? And I think there's just a lot of questions about this that we don't understand, and we waited until we got trained laser deputies, laser supervisors, or taser supervisors, excuse me, that you now have somebody who understands the language, who knows the questions to ask, who understands the answers when they get them from the salesman. And again, as I said before, there's a class action suit pending against Axon that based upon monopoly pricing, and if that gets resolved by this fall, it may result in a lower price. The tasers we have now are in good working order. There's nothing wrong with those. The company has a year to a year and a half's worth of supply on hand. And I say that we should be, if we put this off until late in the fall, early winter, make a determination then. Company says it'll take 4 months to fill that order. That puts us somewhere in April or May of next year, which extends our life of our taser program for another year and makes it, gives us another year before we have to consider replacing the next order. I don't see why we're rushing into this today. There is no urgent need. We can still get X2s from the supplier if they need additional now. And we have all the reasons in the world why we should be waiting until this fall and placing an order at that time after a recommendation from an employee from the Sheriff's Department who is fully trained and understands exactly what this bundle is and whether or not the bundle is equal to or better than the individual pricing for what we need. So I say we should be putting this off and we should not be approving the purchase of tasers today.
Anything else?
No, we talked about this last time.
Yeah, I mean, if I may, Commissioner, I to elaborate a little bit on that, I don't believe that, to address the urgent need thing, we've been talking about this for 2 months now already. With that being said, we do have people that are planning on attending the instructor school. As you guys had an opportunity to speak to the representative last meeting, it was made pretty clear, you don't have the option to buy these as individual items. I think that you have had an opportunity to have an instructor here present from Hancock County as well. I think that we have talked about it in great length. I do think that this is a beneficial part of the sheriff's office.
Call the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm opposed.
Opposed. All right. Update on the patrol position.
Yes, so I wanted to, spirit of transparency, I wanted to bring to your attention that there was a town meeting in Tremont last week, at which time they did vote to contract with Southwest Harbor Police Department for law enforcement services effective following June 30th. So with that being said, obviously, the additional position was approved under the context of being able to assist with the contract. So we would take that off of the table. We understand the spirit under which that was approved. One thing that we would ask for permission is to continue to advertise to build our applicant pool.
So, because that represents 100, that one contract represented like $100,000.
200,
somewhere.
just over 200, like 220 something thousand.
220.
Well, that was what our contract offer was for them for the July.
That's
1.
what we're proposing moving forward.
Right.
Yeah, the difference was 100,000.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a shot in the arm.
like we said, I want to bring that to your attention. I don't plan, or we don't plan on presenting that for higher requisition, obviously, in the circumstances. But we would like to at least build our applicant pool to have a working list of applicants for the future.
So where you're at right now, are you fully staffed, considered fully staffed right now then? If without this,
Later on in the meeting, we would, as of this very second, we're fully staffed, yes.
Yeah, that's what last time.
As
That's
far
why
as
we
what,
talked
as
about
far
this
as what's
additional
budgeted,
piece.
yes. As far as what is budgeted as of this very second.
Well, no, I mean, as of Friday the 17th, you're one short.
Yes, Commissioner Clark, I just figured we would discuss that later on.
The problem later on the meeting, it's executive session. The public should know that we were one short. We were talking about hiring a deputy, we're one short today from budgeted amount of staff.
Then yes, you are correct. I think that the other commissioners understand that as well. I'm just trying to avoid talking about it in public session. So,
Well, dismissal of employees, other than that, it's not. Okay.
I agree with you. We are one short, yes.
Oh, thank you for.
Thank you.
all right. What's happening?
Oh, nothing much. Asking for some money. Morning, Commissioner. We'd like to request the approval to commence with phase one of the jail plumbing project at a cost of $105,805.26 to be paid from ARPA.
This is the project we've been talking about all along. Okay, so I'm gonna move to approve commencing with phase one of the jail plumbing project at a cost of $105,805.26 to be paid from ARPA funds.
Okay.
Real quick question.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I
Yeah, I was just gonna say, phase two, what does that encompass, just so they know?
Okay,
Clear
so
on what-
phase one is everything basically above our doors up in the jail. It's all the fixtures. It's all our plumbing fixtures up to ADA. Replaces all the working parts. We're going to a completely different system that will help us reduce maintenance costs going forward because it's much more user friendly. It's basically plug and play, fairly a good technician can do this all day long without it being stressful. It takes one person to do it, 2 or 3 plumbers in here to do it. So long-term, this is going to be a boom for the jail. Plus it does improve, it brings us back up to 88 standards, which right now we're not making. Second phase is everything below. So it's all the drain work, which is all, they put in cast and steel pipe, which is just degraded over 20 years. And it makes it very hard. It clogs, it's prone to clogging more than say PVC. But it's going to be a major deal with the above the ceiling in the parking garage.
How soon do we think the phase one's going to begin?
They will order the parts. We can get most of the electronic parts in very soon. They do have to order the stainless steel, the toilets, the showers, those things. So those could be like 6 weeks out. We can get, the plumbers are ready to go, that are going to assist us in the installation, the electricians are ready to go. So we can move forward probably within 2 weeks.
Else? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
So we have proposals for the gutter installation. We're able to get 2 quotes. Downey Seamless and from Maine Vinyl. We are recommending to accept the quote for $7,500 for Downey Seamless gutters. This will put gutters all along the front of the jail and runs up the side of the district court offices. Everybody knows the pavement situation out there. This rain just beats into the ground, it freezes, it blows it out. We patch it every year. But this will take care of that. We also have icicles. It's actually dangerous out there in the wintertime. We have to try to knock down icicles and all that. So this is going to facilitate all of that.
Sorry, so this is two separate proposals, is that what this is? One for 7,500 and one for 8,195?
Right, and we're recommending the $7,500 one. They're more than willing to work with us on the weekends. They'll come in, put this up, because they can keep it. It's one very long piece. And you won't interfere with traffic.
So I'm gonna move to approve hiring Danny Seamless to install approximately 244 feet of 6-inch wide seamless aluminum gutters at the courthouse and jail for the sum of $7,500, such sum to be paid for from ARPA funds, as recommended.
I'm not sure that would sign it. First of all, David, I'm not impressed with the estimate that we got. And we see what's in the form it came in. And for another $650, we get a local contractor instead of a contractor at a. I'm not gonna second that motion.
I'll second it, promotion, and we'll have our discussion.
So, as far as you're concerned, there's no difference between these two quotes, other than dollar amount, I mean,
Well,
same
there's a
product.
dollar amount, and maybe Maine Divine would be willing to work with us. Downey Seamless volunteered to work with us by coming in on weekends and getting, keeping this as one piece. So they're not trying to piece the stuff up there during working hours where
Yeah.
people are working below them. So I guess that's what it cost us. It was the price and their overall working with us. You have nothing against Maine Divine, that was just what stood out to us.
Well, as I said, I'd like to support our local taxpayer. And when I look at whether they do work with you or not on the weekend, I think that's still, we can work really.
John, did you second that?
Yes.
I'm just reading the purchasing policy with, or the recommendation here. I'm more comfortable with this. I don't see where we can.
I understand the interest in hiring this person out, maybe go elsewhere. But, I think I'm fine with this for this, I think I'm good with it. Down east seamless.
So we're ready to vote?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm opposed.
And for an update on the sheriff's steps, the handrails are finally in production. They had to shift gears, they went through two other contractors, they finally got one, got the drawings, got them. So they're in production. Our windows are in production, the frames are all being put together. There is, I've been told, a slight delay in getting the glass. It could be 3 weeks. Probably going to get that back in. They're going to start some of the preparation this week. And that's where we're at.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. RCC.
We request permission to hire Erin Booth, Hamden's full-time dispatcher age. She's been a dispatcher for a very long time. She did 16 years in Hancock County, 2 state police, and moved out of state for a couple of years.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Thank you, council. Requesting permission to hire Kristen Hanson of Ellsworth, full-time dispatcher, grade 8.
So moved.
second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
So does that bring you on?
That brings me full stop.
Okay,
Hold your breath.
that.
Today.
That's right.
Should-
Just doing that. I need Tyler's security, so. Say you, a little bit of information about the subscription, why is we have it, what it provides. It really, what it comes down to, meets our insurance requirements, and it also provides our CJIS compliance. And, down through what it does for us if you want, but I think you already have that list.
So I'm ready to take action on this, but what worries me is after the ARPA funding runs out, we're gonna have a lot of things kick in.
That's right.
But, so we're gonna have to start budgeting, maybe
I believe
even
so.
prior to that to soften the blow.
Right, this isn't something that's nice to have, it's something we have.
We have to have, yeah.
It's-
So I'm gonna move to approve renewing the cybersecurity contract with Tyler Technologies for a 5-year term at a rate of $37,000 per year for a total sum of $189,500 to be paid for using ARPA funds.
Second motion,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Would you like me to start budgeting for that and have it certain, I'll take it out?
Well, I think we need to work with Michael on that, but
what was the question, excuse me, what was the question?
Start taking money out, get our budget and actually prepare for this to soften the blow.
Well, you've got reoccurring fees every year, $38,000.
That's correct.
You've got to budget that every year.
We did that with Mike Banyan and we had him every year as well, so.
Just a little simple
So
question.
you're proposing with this under ARPA. So-
Yeah.
And it was a 5 year, so basically he's paying for this all up front. Over the next 5 years, when this expires, is what he's talking about right now, so the next 5 budgets.
Yeah.
Okay, so 37.9 is 1/5 of the total amount.
Basically, yeah, so.
So we don't have 37,900 next year.
no.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry.
But it still needs to get
I
budgeted.
don't know why they call it reoccurring fees. I understand what you're saying.
Okay, I'll take it.
Oh, well, the one thing. Looks like I've done this before, 37,000 times 5.
37,900.
Oh, it's 37.
37,900.
It is 37,900? Okay, well, in the memo, it said 37,000, that explains it. Yes. So my motion should have been 37,900 instead of 37,000.
No, you made a motion for the entire quote of 189,500.
Yes, but I also said at a rate of 37 per year. I should have said 37,900 per year.
I didn't hear the 37.
No, it's just the total amount.
Okay, great. All right, perfect.
All right, take it.
Resources. An update on Mutual Omaha.
Everybody, I sent a memo. Questions about the memo or?
See how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, the person who was the representative from Mutual Omaha has no longer working for Mutual Omaha. And it was taken over by a different account person. I do know the person who was affected, is not speaking with them at all and has decided to break off the contract. So that's not going to affect them at all. But I did send an email, as I indicated in the memo, about our concerns about the lack of customer service.
But you also said that, our vendors making sure that doesn't happen again. Working to
Correct.
make sure that doesn't happen.
Correct, and they're fully aware that we were not the only organization that had issues with this person. So it was cumulative.
All right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Benefits of it.
At the last meeting, you could ask for numbers. If you have any questions. We have the 2023 and 2024 Bowl Hill payments have not been received yet, but they're marked as receivable, and 24 Hancock Wind is usually comes in December, but
Basically, that
2.1,
5277099 is the total in that account.
it's the total of available TIF funds.
Well, do we have any more CBA money coming in this year? We received it all. You will?
No, we received 2023 from we received the 2023 payment in December of the Bull Hill, but we haven't received Hancock Wind.
For 23 yet?
Just around 24.
So we haven't received either one of them.
The $200,000 payment for Bull Hill, we've not received 23 or 24. But the 2023 Hancock Wind payment we received in December of 23. Sorry,
So December 24, we should receive another one.
the 188,853, right?
So what's the story of not getting the payment for
We have
23?
I don't know. We're gonna try to do some digging.
We have potential 388 coming in this
Right.
fiscal year.
Right.
Okay, so on the first page, that there's TIF funds and community benefit funds, right? Is that what those two numbers are?
Yeah.
Okay, so the community benefits fund is the
Yes,
$1,057,000.
yes.
And then that we can use a lot more freely than we can the TIF funds. And the TIF account, that's the 2.152.
And the TIF is, the Bull Hill is 436 and Hancock Wind is 622. So the total of the community benefits plus the two TIFs is the 2.155.
Okay, now I'm following, it's okay. And on the previous page, on the subsequent page, that balance, 1093,
Yeah,
that is, why is there a difference? Because of the receivables, right?
I think so, yeah.
So that 2.152 includes the receivables
Yeah.
that we just discussed. That includes money that's not there yet. And the
Yep.
balance is what's actually there. Am I understanding that right?
To me, it's a funny worksheet. I don't like the way it works. I'm following the same pattern that Scott Adkins always followed. and this is how the numbers come out. But the true numbers are the numbers that you are looking at in yellow. The G3 3025 has 105770623 in it. That's a true number. And then the offset for taxes for 2024 is 0. And then the true numbers in the UT, the Bull Hill TIF, that's the 436, 458. And the Hancock Wind TIF is the 6. So I would go by these numbers on the front page rather than the.
Okay, so when you say true numbers, they
True numbers.
include the receivable
Yes,
or not?
yes, they include the receivables.
Okay, which we don't have.
Right.
So, yeah, so what you're basically asking is cash in hand, cash in the bank versus,
Yes, that's my exact question, and that's what I thought, that's why I thought there was a difference between these two numbers. But let's see if I'm right. You said we're still owed 200,000, right? 2001. Is that right?
We still owe $400,003.20.
So two of those.
Two of them.
Two.
Okay, so then my theory is incorrect.
The difference in the second page and the CBA in the first page has nothing to do with that. It's basically
It's just a little bit of,
different numbers were plugged in.
yeah,
It's just, this second page was created because we as commissioners and whatnot were having to go to 2 or 3 different areas in Trio, wherever it
Right.
was, to get the one number. We just tried
Right.
to devise one before.
right.
Now, if you don't want to use that, that was just, that doesn't
Yeah,
work.
I did find another report last night while I was still working on this that I'm gonna try to put together to make it for my own better understanding.
So,
Because, excuse me, because back then, it wasn't enough that we just had a bottom line number. We'd like to know where those numbers came
The
from.
ins and the outs,
Yeah.
right,
And so, I don't know, at some point, if you just not zero it out, but if you made the ending number correspond with your number.
Yep.
And then carry on from there, I'd still like to see this report occasionally tell us
okay,
where the money came from.
okay.
so sorry, I'm beating this dead horse. Is the amount 2.152 or is it 2.55? Including the receivable. What I'm wondering is if that 2.152 includes the 400,000 that we have not received.
Yes, it does,
It does, okay.
yes.
So actually,
There's only a little bit of difference in math between, if you look at the top part, the total fund, the community benefits FB 1057706
yeah,
is pretty close to the 1093414.
36,000.
It's like
Yeah.
math and
yeah, I get that, yeah.
so then if you take that number plus the 2 TIF numbers, the 2.152 is a true number.
Is a true accrual number.
Yes.
Cash number is 400,000 less than that.
Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
But the truth of the matter is, though, we should look at these as separate items because there's separate criteria for both.
Yes,
So in other words, CBA is $1,057,000.
you're right,
And the 2 TIFs, 436 and 622.
Yeah.
that's right.
Because the 2,152,152 really means nothing because you got different criteria.
Criteria. I
different-
get that.
Again, though, how much more is coming in from CBA this year? For 24?
For 24, there would be 188,853 for Hancock Wind and 200,000 for Bull Hill.
All right.
There are 3 payments that we haven't received.
the CBA is only the 188 though, right? Is that the question you were asking?
Yeah, I just wanted the CBA,
What's this?
Right,
and you're saying that 188 from one and 200 from another?
yeah,
Okay, so there's 388,000
853, yep,
would be added to the 1,057,000, correct? For total,
No,
Nope.
that's the point that I'm making.
Yeah. It's already got it added in there, even though we don't have it.
Yeah, that's an accrual number. and
it's a receivable.
Yeah, and these are,
so we don't have 1,057,000 on hand from.
No.
From that G3, 3025,
Not on hand, no,
some of that is,
receivables,
that's 188.
188 and 200.
you said 3 payments, that's 2.
Yep, 2 payments of 200.
So that's
Just
400.
the CBA.
They're both CBA.
But
Hancock Wind and Bull Hill are both CBA.
which,
There's a total of 2 $200,000 payments and 1 $188,000 payment that we have not received.
Okay, so those are all 3 CBA funds.
Which is
So-
588,000.
So
So the
you,
question here is the language, I think. So the
Yes.
TIF funds and the community benefit, I think, is what's getting confused here. So the community benefit's the one that has no strings attached. That was the agreement
Yeah.
that you got in addition to the quote unquote TIF funds.
TIF funds come into the UT,
So those are the ones that go to the UT.
and those we've been receiving on a regular basis. That's real. That's real.
Yeah, that's what you.
So I apologize for.
So in actuality, in community benefits funds, we have about $400,000
Right,
sitting in that.
right.
In that
That's right.
account. The rest is receivable, that
Yes,
hopefully are collectible.
yes.
and we're gonna find out why we didn't get paid.
Because we're still on those contracts for a number of years, so we should be, yes, we'll look into.
We haven't gotten paid, when we were supposed to get paid.
And if I remember right, in those agreements, there's terms, right?
Well, I mean, there's also like penalties if we don't pay the money we get through and move that back out. So yeah,
Yeah.
but of course, it probably doesn't go there.
Yeah. So we need to follow.
oh, excuse me, just so I understand, the balance to date, we take the 1,057,000, and deduct 588,000 from that.
Yes. And that's
That
what,
gives us a true cash on hand
Yes,
balance.
yes,
Is that right?
yes.
Well, that gentleman's a number that we really need to focus on. Because you really want to spend money you don't have here. Okay,
But I mean, the money is tied to us, so we need to see why they haven't paid, but I don't think that it's gonna not be paid,
yeah, so you're
right?
not writing off the receivable.
No,
Yeah.
But my point is, though, if we want to tap into that account, then
Yeah.
we'd rather not be spending 500,000, because there isn't 500,000 in it.
That's right.
There's only 468,853 in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We got it, sorry, but like.
All right. Then procedures and policy.
So I went back to the drawing board, took what you had and tried to essentially fill in a waiver section that gives the commissioners some clearer, as well as really the employees as well, some clearer idea as to the circumstances where you might consider waiving the bid requirements or the process that would be utilized. This question that I finally got the answer to late yesterday, from a legal standpoint. And there were 2 different attorneys that had looked at that, really only one looked at it, but the other one just kind of said, yeah, I agree, signed off on it. But basically, the law doesn't, it mentions the state, but it doesn't mention the commission. So counties and county commissioners, so what authority you have. So the concern was, obviously, I can create all these waivers for you, but legally, how do we know whether or not you can do that? And then if you get challenged, what happens? So long story short, the email printout I gave you this morning, basically everything we stated up to this point, there are a list of probably about 6 or so different things that are spelled out in the statute that say they apply to the state. It doesn't reference the county, but legal's taken the position that even though it's not clear where it falls in as far as the applicability of it and that reference, but absence, a clear dictate to the difference or a contrary to basically say you can't do that, then we're being advised, go ahead and put those in and utilize those as a basis until we're proven otherwise or until the law changes. And I know obviously we are gonna have some future discussions about what we'd like to try to recommend for our local delegation legislature. So basically, what I'm looking for at this point is what's been done so far. Is that sufficient? Is that what you have in mind? Do you want additional things done? If not, then basically what I would propose, I think it's probably close, but just going back and matching up to make sure that the waiver language that I have in there matches on the form for the attorney to be C, D, E, and F, and G.
Yeah.
And as long as it's word for word, then I think I'd have something to come back for a final approval at the next meeting, if that everything else is acceptable for the commission.
That's my feeling, is that this advice needs to be incorporated in this policy, and then we're there. Is that,
I mean, that's based on what I understand, but if there's other stuff you want, that's why I brought it back to you today, is to get kind of final input from you before I brought it back for approval, and not knowing whether or not, we were gonna be able to try to incorporate those state references in the statute.
well, there's things in there that I'd like to see, but I don't think that they can be in there because of the state statute.
And I think that's the reality. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
couple other things we have kind of talked about, or scenarios that came up,
Yeah,
that where I'd like to say to you, gee, I would love to be able to incorporate
Yeah.
that, but
I don't see
I
how we
don't
can.
have anything to hang my hat on to give it to
I
you, so.
agree.
But if you read E, almost like you don't need anything else. I mean, most economical, effective, and appropriate means. It's almost like nothing else fits, throw in E. Not that I'm complaining about it, I think that makes it easier for us to.
You're reading E from this memo?
Yeah.
So from the memo, I think.
Oh, from the
yeah,
draft.
And it'd be G on the memo, I think.
Yeah, but
Where it says the cost is less than 10,000 procurement from a single source, the
No,
most
I'm-
economical, effective, and appropriate, which basically is what I put in the version of the waivers in E there, all bids receiving, oh, wait a minute. Next one. The procurement of goods and services from a single source, is the most economical, effective, and appropriate means of filling and demonstrating the need.
Yeah, so G here ties into E in the
In the
draft.
draft.
That's the part you have to reconcile.
And basically where some of this other section, I probably should have mentioned that quickly, is taking language from the other counties that did forward me copies of what they have. So they've taken some liberty and kind of incorporated that into it. So, but this is kind of where the attorneys are saying, here's what the statute says.
Yeah, so Bill, the E in the draft, not in the legal opinion, or
Because basically they need to be.
is what in the attorneys?
is
I don't have the attorneys.
It's like G.
G.
The only real difference for that is it's got the 10,000 cap,
Exactly.
You've got that in
and I had
a separate,
mine didn't include it with the 10,000 cap.
At all.
well, it's in there, under D in the waiver.
Yeah, under what I proposed, yes, so,
Right.
but not in terms of what basically the attorney went back and said, look, I can agree that you could take what's in the statute and extend that, but I'm not gonna say I'm gonna give you enough liberty to add beyond that, or to take bits and pieces of one and another, which is what apparently some counties have done. And what I was trying to do to get you the most flexibility, but now the attorneys come back and said,
Yeah.
you
Revise.
really need to you really need to go back to the statute.
I agree.
So that's why I'm saying, I mean, basically, this is the final draft, so I would go back to you with, unfortunately, I mean, in terms of flexibility standpoint, referring back to the waiver language. But it's still ahead of where you are right now, because basically $2,500 and that no way fans or buts, so that is what it is.
But the 2,500 is the bidding
Threshold.
Threshold, so
but 10,000 is the oral bid, isn't it?
that's what we have talked about setting up, and that's what other places have done, yes. And then the state reference language is in there, about oral language as well, I believe, that's where some of that's come from as well. But generally speaking, that's, yeah, I mean, that's where other places then have set it up so that you can have the 10,000, under 10,000
For oral bid.
for oral bids, yeah.
So up to 2,500, go ahead and buy it. 2,500
It's gotta
to
go.
10,000, you can get oral bid.
It's gotta
Over
go.
10,000, it's gonna be written.
If that's ultimately what you end up incorporating in here. Yeah, as long as I can get it so it's consistent with the statute, then that's what you'll see at the next meeting.
Yeah.
So,
We need to see that.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't ask you to approve it today, it's not ready.
Your draft is it?
It isn't, my draft doesn't match exactly what's in the statute language. My draft was taking basically what our discussions had been prior, looking at what other counties had in their language for their policies. And some don't have any, basically to say we follow statute 2,500 above, that's it, we just do that. And basically try to take what we discussed, looking at the statute and try to see what other counties had done, because presumably, but they may not have, presumably they had somebody look at their policy before they. But there's some language in the waiver that I put in there to try to get you to look at that probably basically isn't gonna be 100% consistent with statute. So that's why the attorneys, again, I mean, all they can do is reference, say, we will agree that it doesn't say you can't, so since it doesn't say you can't, go ahead and add these waivers or exceptions because the statute allows it for the state. But beyond that, you have no clear authority to basically deviate from anything that's in the state statute that references the state. So anything else that is in mind, which is probably at least two in there that have some language in it that would have to be stricken and inserted with what the actual statutory language is. And that'll be obviously clearer when I make the revisions and send it back to you for review, so.
Revisions.
Yeah. Thank you.
You.
These community partners, especially. Yeah. We have our books.
I'm ready, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know there.
So at this point, we can't do the executive session, correct?
The union rep's supposed to be here within the next 15 minutes or so. Had we not cut the agenda, I guess we probably would have been close, but.
Yeah,
I just spoke with Joe Tony. He's gonna be here shortly. He was running on, he got stuck in traffic. And Justin Burnett said he'll be here at 9:45. He's on his way as well.
okay, so we can go through the next two items and go.
Yeah.
Okay.
The county administrative comments.
I do know that. Other than, I guess I should say, you might, but it's my understanding that tour now is not part of the agenda. It's not going to occur today, just for the record, so.
And I apologize, that's a tough one this time of year, and hopefully we can, because at a later time.
All right, do we have any suggestions for future agenda items?
My only suggestion is I like the meetings going at this pace and whether that's a sign of things to come. That's a joke, but.
We can take a break. here, 9:45.
Or whenever they walk in.
So should I?
Yeah.
Yeah.